Ipswich Buses, your local bus company serving your football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich Buses today. A single from only £1.20, a return from only £2. Find out more information at www.ipswichbuses.co.uk. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talk in Town. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Monday night Talking Town Extra Time. I am your host, the Gov, and there seems to be two sets of Town fans tonight. A set of Town fans that are okay with how the window has gone and appears to be going in its final hours, or another set of fans that are not particularly happy with how the window has transpired, with maybe Fraser moving on, no other reinforcements arriving just yet. I myself have been eating brownies and listening to My Chemical Romance. So I'll let you decide which camp I am in right now. But as always, I'm excited to have the show to talk about our club with you guys and girls. I've just dropped the link into the live chat. The earliest I have dropped the link in is, after all, your club, your platform, to have your say. So if you have anything you want to talk about this evening, it could be Pigott possibly going to Cambridge, Fraser definitely going to Charlton, Nolan, part of that fabled now recruitment drive in the summer under Hurst. How bad does that now look, particularly with Nolan's contract being paid off and Toto going for a nominal fee? Or maybe you still want to talk about Sheffield Wednesday and just how lackluster and pathetic 0 shots on target in League One truly is. I've got lots of comments coming in. We've got what is this? We've got Clive. Every other playoff team signing players bar us. Yeah, it's a fair point. So truly fair point. We've got Ashley Barton. I bought tickets for MK Dons, my daughter's first ever Ipswich game. Oh, she'll look forward to the inflatables then. Good evening, Sarah. I hope you are doing well after your surgery. Lee is in the room. I wonder if Mike Brown's here. Yep, Redman 39 is here. Getting Fraser off the wage bill can only mean one thing. Mbappe to ITFC confirmed, says Adam Blamplate. Right. Let's raise the mood a little bit by first of all doing our prediction league, getting that out of the way nice and early. Four games this week, and I've got a little added extra for you because Leyton Orient are on the ticket. So when you go into the survey, you will have an extra question that's not on this list. But the 4 games are Ipswich Gillingham, Leyton Orient Colchester, Luton versus Cambridge, and the last one is Wolves versus Norwich. I have also asked you, how many goals will Aaron Driniesta get against Colchester? Some say, this is just a rumour I've heard doing the rounds, that Luke Chambers got himself sent off because he couldn't face Driniesta on Saturday. He knew he couldn't contend with Tux's favourite striker from Ireland. Sorry, I've done you nasty there, Tuck. Sorry. The Durrants. Robert's performance Saturday, and unfortunately not the best window. And don't forget, you can support us through Ko-Fi or become a YouTube member today. Only $4.99 tier 1, $7.99 tier 2. Bargain. Just for this introduction alone. Where is it? Where is the award-winning nominated Mark Tuxford? Mr. Tuxford, how are you? God, that wallpaper's Sexy.
It's not bad, is it? It's not bad. I'm all right as well. So, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yes. Is that a you addition to the property? Is that a Mrs. Tuxford addition to the property? Is that was already there when you moved in? Have you moved in yet? What's the?
This is not actually my house. So I'm currently
not?
house sitting for someone at the moment, and it's their choice. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't like it.
No, I'm not a fan
just
either.
gonna throw it out.
Yeah.
It catches my eye every time I put you on the screen. Sean says, "You smoking, Gov? What the actual fuck?" I love it. People see that for the first time. That tune, I love it, and it gives me time to do what I've just done in the chat, which is drop the prediction league because I wasn't quite prepared. You always know when I have to do something because I put Tuxford's introduction on. Because I have to. The other day, I went to the loo for 20 minutes and came back out. It's brilliant. How are you? I said I was eating brownies, listening to My Chemical Romance. How are you as an Ipswich Town fan this evening, Mr. Peaky? What are you feeling?
I think there's some transfers out going. I mean, deadline day is like Christmas, and it really is like kid in a sweet shop. But I think the transfers that have gone out so far, some of them I've agreed with, some of them I haven't. So yeah, I mean, I'm sort of optimistic, but at the same time, I'm kind of after Saturday's performance, I was a little bit disappointed. It's kind of opened my eyes as to currently where we are this season. And as I put on Twitter, and that was a little bit of a mixed review from some people, but it's not season over for me because I feel like we could go close, but I don't know, it's tough to sort of take when you kind of watch performances like that, and it's not just been Sheffield Wednesday. It's been littered with performances like that, really. So yeah, it's been disappointing.
It has, and obviously we joke, but how many goals do you think Johnny Esther will get this weekend at Colchester for the prediction league?
It's got to be a brace, really, isn't it? I mean, I would say a hat trick, but I feel like he scores when he wants, doesn't he? So I think for me, he would just want to score.
Any truth in the rumor? Any truth in the rumor? Do you feel he wanted to sit in the stands and not take on the GOAT?
Well, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't. I think
Who would?
Yeah, exactly. He's an in-demand striker at the moment. Frank Nouble's had to go there because he wants to play with him. So this is the type of caliber of player that the likes of Frank Noble want to play with. So
I heard a Boomyang was on the phone earlier. Told Jacket, get me down there, Kenny. Get me down there. They just couldn't work out the train travel arrangements. But that's the pool of Johnny Esther. It truly is. Anyway, we joke. But a striker of our own could be making a move. Joe Pigott rumoured to go to Cambridge. Before I bring in Voom, what is your instant reaction to that potential? Joe Pigott to Cambridge?
Well, I think you knew my instant reaction because you was the one who told me about it. So I think it's a bit of a shock because obviously
he swore.
I did swear. But I think in all honesty, I think I feel a bit sorry for Pigott this season because he hasn't had the chances, and Bond has kind of kept him out the side, and then Nord coming in, he's kept him out the side as well. But at the same time, Pigott really hasn't taken his chance. I think when he has played, I think under Cook he didn't really get the chance, but under McKenna, I think he's kind of had a couple of chances here and there. So it's a bit of a shame, really. But yeah, I mean, if he's got to get football, he's got to go out on loan, isn't he? I suppose.
Absolutely. Possibly. I don't know. We'll get into that as after the other side of this. We mentioned international players, Aubameyang, Johnny Esther. Here is our own international player. What is in the goblet tonight, Mr. Tom James?
What we got? Pucker chai tea. Cheers, everyone.
Pucker chai tea?
Yeah, big Monday.
It is a big Monday, just not in the offices of Mark Ashton and Andy Rolls. It may be. I don't know, but it doesn't appear to be in the incoming phone that they're working this evening. It's obviously the outgoing phone. Before we go into the transfer window, we've got Alex, we've got the GOAT waiting. I want to just again say the link is in the chat. If you want to come on and have your say, it is your platform. You could be happy, sad, indifferent, angry about Wednesday still, whatever it might be. Get involved. But Tom, Coughgate, the darts. Obviously, we had our first darts show dropped last week. We'll do our second one soon. But what is this Coughgate all about, and what is your stance on it?
I didn't really think there was that much to it, really. I think just Van Gerwen was just being a bit much for some people. And yeah, it wasn't much. Van Gerwen wasn't good enough to win that tournament, and Cullen did a great job doing it. So I think it was a side show to what the main event was all about. But yeah, we'll cover that a week on Wednesday, won't we?
We certainly will. But for those that don't know, tell the people at home what Kofgate is all about.
You probably might have heard of Michael Van Gerwen. I think there was a bit of controversy with one of the younger players when he was beating Van Gerwen, and then some noises started coming out supposedly on stage, and it was supposedly Van Gerwen putting him off when he was trying to win the game. And there's a lot of talk about that online.
Shithousing.
Shithouse. Some will call it cheating, but yeah.
Tux, we know Football League chairman that Mike takes us to the interwebs on Kofgate. But have you ever been part of a sporting event there, Mark, where you've had the same level of shithousing from a rival competitor?
I don't think I have. I'm trying to think, but I don't think I have. I think we've had a lot of teams turn up at Portland Road that are shit houses, but other than the obvious, no, not really.
I had to sort of laugh this morning when I heard about the Australian final. Did anyone hear that news this morning where Medvedev wasn't happy? People, basically, the long and short of it was he wasn't happy that Nadal was more popular than he was. And he was finding the crowd idiots. He called them idiots, I think, which just made me laugh. But is anyone a tennis fan here? Either of you a tennis?
Not particularly, no. Not really. I watch Wimbledon when it's on, but not particularly a follower.
Yeah, okay. Same there. Only catch Wimbledon.
We'll move that one straight on over there then. Right. The Darts would generally like to know why I think it's been a good window for us. Jake James, Cross and D'Souza robbed the Premier League. That's for the Darts. Stuart Firmston feels like the owners gave with one hand and then took it away with the other. A real damp squid. And Stephen Parry likes the tennis. So Steve, when you come on and tell us how great this window's been and how Kieran McKenna is the second coming, you can tell us who your favourite tennis player is. But for now, I'm going to ask the two contributors to kick us off with their transfer window thoughts. Has it been a good window? Is it a good window? Are we in a better position? Are we in a weaker position? Obviously, the ins have been Backinson, Thompson, Walton on a permanent. I'm not going to count Bond because I thought he was here all season regardless, but you could, if you wanted to, count the extension of Macaulay Bond, with the outs being Holy, Nolan's contract being paid up, Scott Fraser to Charlton, and Pigott possibly. We still don't know what the situation there is to Cambridge. Mark, actually, I'll ask Tom because I was asked you a second ago. Tom, kick us off. What are your thoughts on the window this evening?
Yeah, I think it's been a fair window. Nothing spectacular, but we had enough of that in the summer. We had enough upheaval and disruption, and I think it's been fine. We've tied down Bon, who was subject to maybe, getting bids in the Championship. And then we kept our best keeper since Bart. So I think that's a relatively good window so far. We've got rid of some of the Deadwood and Fraser on for some money. So I think it's all right. It might be nice to have someone who's a bit more experienced and hardy, probably in the middle of the pitch, just to kind of supplement Morsey in there. But once Morsey's back, he's going to play every game. So it's just a case of waiting it out. And I think the squad of 24, 25 that we've got are good enough to do something in this league. But
okay. Yeah. We'll start with the Morsey comment there, Mark. He's going to play every game when he comes back until he's suspended. Is that the issue? Do you agree? Is Backinson the right answer? Where are you on it, really?
I think from the little of Backinson I've seen it, he's been all right. Hasn't really set the world alight at all. But I think it's always been Morsey's been the kind of the stand-in figure for me in that CDM role, and then you've got to place someone alongside him. And I've said many times that I don't think Evans is cut out for it. I think he's more of a passenger than he actually adds anything to us. But I'm hoping that Backinson can be a better player than Evans, possibly more defensively. But he's said himself that he's more of a box-to-box player. But yeah, it's a difficult one. But I think as I say, Morsey's the main man, and hopefully he can come back soon after his suspension and get injury free. Really, so yeah.
Yeah, I think we
mine's
were kind of
gone.
hoping maybe El Mazzuni would be kind of the replacement in the meantime.
Yeah.
Anyway. And
Sorry about that, chaps.
It's all right, mate.
I was screen hopping and I pressed the X button, not the maximize button, and you disappeared on me. So terribly sorry. That serves me right. Yeah, sorry. sorry. That's not what normally happened to me. Backinson Fair is what I got to with you, Tux. Thompson's another lone player, Tom. Is he the answer? Is he going to be the answer? Because I'm a bit confused this evening, I'll be honest. Because it appears from the outside that the club have decided that off the back of maybe Saturday's result, and Ashton's a shrewd man with lots of data and analytical driven. Maybe the players are a long shot now. Maybe they're not possible. They are mathematically, but the results are in, and it's a 2% chance or whatever. It appears that the club maybe are waving that proverbial white flag and thinking we're just going to sort of settle with what we've got, and then we'll readdress it in the summer. But then you look at the arrival of Thompson and Backinson as lone players, and you think, well, that's going to stifle the improvement or the blooding of Harper or Elmiz or Penny to see if he can right the wrongs of the previous 4 months. Where are you on those topics? It's a wide range.
Well, Penny was playing in the 4-2-3-1 for most of the season, so he's probably more suited to a bit more of a conservative left back rather than a left wing back role. Whether he's played there at Wednesday, I don't know. But yeah, I think Backinson coming in is just an extra option. I don't think it's fair to criticise him after 2 games, nor should we criticise Thompson after 1 game, because they're coming into a new team, probably a leader short in Morsey, so there'll probably be an extra level there. A lot's been put on Edmondson having to captain the team at the minute, and results haven't been great under him overall so far. But again, he's young, he's learning. It's probably quite a young team at the minute. We're still trying to get used to each other, and I think Backinson's got an eye for next season, I think, and Thompson's just for a bit of extra cover on the left side. I don't think he'll be a longer term. I think Brentford rate him. He was in Arsenal's academy for a while, so yeah.
Which in that case, why is if you're not going to bring in midfield cover for Sam Morsey or competition for Sam Morsey, if you're not going to keep hold of Joe Pigott, again, we don't know he's definitely going to go. This is a rumour, a report. We do not know the situation at 9:15 with him. But if you're going to let him go, if you're not going to bring in cover for Morsey, what's the need for a highly rated left back from the Premier League if you're not putting your best foot forward, as it looks like? Because you've got fans in the chat like Harry Butcher, yay, another wasted season. You've got Blue Punch, Fraser and Pigott treated badly. Matete gone to Sunderland, awful showing Wednesday. This season is dead, not what I'd call a good window. So I agree on Thompson being highly rated, but if the season's dead, what's the point? Why not play Penny, Tom?
Well, is it the best option that we've got available to us right now? Maybe we couldn't sign a better left back. Maybe Thompson is the best available loan option that we've got. We've moved some loan people out, we've cancelled contracts, and we've just got him in just to try and get at least the system embedded into the team, and that might help. But yeah, it looks like a tall order at the minute, to be honest, and we're going to have to wait a lot on results this week because some of those teams above us are playing. So yeah, we're kind of in the hands of other teams at the minute, which is bad, but at least we've got 2 very winnable games. So it should look clearer by MK Dons whether we're probably in it or out of it.
What do you say, Mark, to the fans tonight that are in the camp of season's dead, we're waving the white flag, we're not? What would you say to those people like Harry Butcher, like Blue Punch in the chat?
Well, I mean, I try and be positive. I try and look at it from that kind of outlook a lot of the time. But I think, you
ripped that up, Mark. You ripped that up.
Yeah, I did, and I've ripped it up. And I think, my latest kind of Twitter little rant really was that, I think the season's kind of sort of come to its natural conclusion. Really, I feel like that there's teams that are, ahead of us anyway, but on games played, but also points as well. And it just looks like, as Tom's saying here, like a bit of a tall order. And I just don't understand how we're going to get anywhere near that. I mean, I do also ultimately think we'll get close, but I don't think we'll get in those playoff positions just because the consistency is absolutely poor. It's been like it for such a long time. And, this season, I'm judging this team on this season because it's a new team. But, where has that consistency been? And I know it is a new team, but it's not been there at all. And just to pick it out of thin air, it's not just going to happen, is it? Because we haven't done it for God knows how long. So I don't, there's positive fans out there as well saying that, we could put a run together and stuff like that. But my argument is, where is that run coming from?
It's a good point. Tom, before I go ahead and bring the contributors in, a few more points from you both. I'll start with you there, Tom. Hayden Coulson recalled straight away, gone to Peterborough. States he's raring to go, Rob Holmes says. Is that a surprise to you to see Coulson not perhaps recalled, but recalled straight away and loaned instantly with the player stating he's raring to go?
Well, maybe there's been an option for him to play Championship football for a few weeks, and he probably maybe preferred that option. It's better for Middlesbrough if he does play at that level, because he might be a longer term option. So yeah, maybe that's why Thompson's come in so quickly. There goes the cat. And yeah,
we're a cat friendly platform, Talking Town.
Yeah,
the cats come to the yard.
But if he stays fit, he'll play every week at Peterborough, because they've lost Dan Butler for the rest of the season and they're very light. So, but if he can't get fit, then it's screwed at the minute for that.
Mark, the longer we not sit here, but the longer it goes on, does the summer window look more of a disaster than an actual success as it was held at the time? 19 signings, was it quantity over quality? Because when you look at it, and I was sent this by somebody, so I trust that it's correct, of the 19 players we've signed, you could class these as perhaps a flop. Their words, not mine. Coulson, Barry, Fraser, Harper, Pigott, Haladki, Carroll, Penny, maybe Cameron Burgess, paid nearly £1 million for him, Carl Edwards, that's 10 of the 19. Selena and Evans, maybe in the expected more camp. That leaves Aluko, Walton, Fridge, Morsey, Chaplin, and Burns. 6 out of the 19 as successes. Is that a fair assessment that I was sent by somebody? And if it is, does it show that actually the window in the summer was not good at all? Because Downs and Dazelle, both from the Championship. Downs, by the way, getting rave reviews.
Well,
Wolfenden told he could leave, back in the squad, one of our best players.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think if we're looking at Downs, obviously he was the player that everyone wanted to keep from last season. But you look at take us back to last season, right? That squad needed to be decimated. Like the players that were in that squad were bottle jobs, if anything. The best way to describe them. Some of them have been here too long. The squad needed to be kind of, it just needs to be pulled apart really, and new players needed to come in. I think some of them maybe could have stayed. They didn't have to be wholesale changes, but there needed to be change. And Paul Cook spotted that. But I think probably the issue was that he brought too many players in at at a time where we was even kicking off the season. The players weren't really that ready. We didn't know what we were doing in terms of a shape and all that kind of stuff. So, the other thing was that we've got 4 number 10s playing in a, you play one
3
number
now.
10, but you've got 3 on the bench or not even in the match day 18. So, these are players that have come in. I don't think Cook knew whether they were coming in the end or not. Obviously he wanted some of them. I think some of them he didn't. I don't think he wanted Roberts. Edwards.
Yep.
These are players that are either not wanted or were wanted, but they did need to be changed. And with that amount of turnover of players, there's always going to be a couple of them that aren't quite as good or don't, come up to the full bill of it. But there's also going to be players that have kicked on, like the Edmondsons of this world, Salinas and all that kind of stuff. So, it is going to happen like that because it's a completely new squad. So, yeah, I do agree with that statement. But I think it's unfair to say that, the summer transfer window was a shambles. I don't think it was. I just don't think that in the end we had much of a plan there. And as I say, we just signed too many players for, one position, mainly the number 10 role, and didn't really have that going forward. So yeah.
Okay. Carl Brooks, can't judge Fraser. He was shoehorned at left midfield for the majority of it. Callie says, aside from Burns, all Ashton signings have flopped. Stephen Parry said, depends on what you're looking at. I'm looking at points and we'll come to you. So that's Parry. I can see you in the VIP area. I'm just going to star that. I'll come back to that comment. Ashley Smith, the summer was a panic to get players in. Lee, you're not going to get all 19 right. We would have been better of not replacing some mini. Blue says, very fair assessment. wasn't my handiwork, was sent to me, but I thought it was a good roundup. Cali,
Well,
good players.
I mean, hindsight is such a wonderful thing, though, isn't it? I mean, we can sit here and say
Truly
that
is,
now,
yeah.
but you know, at the start of the season, everyone was absolutely buzzing because we had 19 players coming through the door. I think
We
there was
were.
a little bit of like, you know, is it right, is it wrong, and all that kind of stuff. And that's debate. That's football. That's why we love the game. But at the same time, you know, this is a new team, and it still is a new team. And like, even if you bring in so many players in January, you know, what's the difference? I mean, you can bring in a load of players in January and then they've got a gel, or you bring in a couple of players and they've got a gel. So ultimately, you can't win, to be honest. But you know, in regards to this January window at the moment, should players come in? Possibly, yes. You know, I think we are kind of used to Ashton getting his checkbook out and, you know, getting players coming through the door because of the summer business. But you know, do we need those players is the argument, because I think actually we only really need a central midfielder to replace Fraser, because we've got 3 number 10s already. So we don't really need to replace that position potentially. So, yeah.
Great points there. Can't win. Harry hindsight is great. I'll bring Colin in. A bit of positivity, I'm sure. Colin, talk to us. What are you thinking? What are you feeling?
Good evening, gentlemen. What am I thinking? Well, you know, the first thing I'd like to say is, I mean, I don't get all this negativity like Tom was saying a minute ago. Under McKenna, we played 6, won 4, lost 2. The points return's not bad. Could have been better, but not bad. Have I given up? Absolutely not. And that's not just me saying it because I love this football club. You must never, ever, like I said before, look, I don't understand people. I really don't. Mike Brown said the other day, I heard him, and he's absolutely right. There's 17 games, there's 51 points to play for. When you got Tom plays darts, so does my son. When you go up, Ian will tell you, when you go up to the dartboard, do you expect to get 3? No, Ian expects to get 180. Okay? And 9 times, well, not 5, 6 times out of 10, he gets 180. Okay? Because the positivity is there, because he's a bloody good dart player. He goes up to get 100 or 120. He doesn't go up to get 3. It's in here all the time in life. Martin, you had problems in your life, but because of your positivity, you fought back. Bless your heart. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if those people, right, who are running our football club, like some people have suggested today, are waving a white flag, get them on here and wave the white flag to me and the 2,800 and something who went to Sheffield Wednesday on Saturday, and the 5, 6, 7, 8,000 who are going to go to MK Dons in 3 weeks. Start saying to us that we're waving that white flag, because I'll tell you something for nothing, Martin, Tux and TJ, we certainly aren't. So let's stop all this negativity. Let's win our next 5 games. Like, I know what Rich will say. It hasn't happened for 18 years. Accepted. But it doesn't mean to say the next 5 games can't be won. It doesn't mean to say the next 7 games can't be won. It's in here. Now, people like Chelina, I'm going to use him as look, I don't care who this offends today. I'm going to use him as a perfect example, Gov. If you're listening to this, Chelina, you're earning decent money, more than decent money. You start turning up because you're good enough. It's in here. It's in here again. You're good enough to rip this league apart. Start doing it. Start earning your money. You know?
Fair.
And now we'll get on to Mr. Fraser. Right. Mr. Fraser. A lot of people rated him on here. I'll tell you what, if I don't know nothing else in life, I know quite a bit about football. And I'll tell you something for nothing. That bloke, and Callie was absolutely spot on what he put on here a little while ago. And I'm not saying it because he said it. I'd have said it anyway. Fraser has not anywhere near fulfilled his potential at this football club. Am I surprised he's gone? Absolutely not. I'm not saying he's not a good footballer, but he certainly hasn't done it at this club. Some people will say he's been played at a position. Quite right, maybe quite rightly so. But if a person who plays in midfield, gets shoved out to the left, what's he going to turn around to the manager and say, I can't play there? Get out there and do it. Do a shift. Excuse me. Do a shift for the club. His players played out of position. Aluko's been told to play out on the right, done marvellously well. He's been asked if he can you play number 10 today, Aluko? Not saying it because I like the bloke. Be playing with number 10. He don't score as many goals as Chaplin. I agree, Cov. But he certainly doesn't lose that ball, and everything goes through him. And he's a 7, more or less a 7 out of 10, nearly every week. That's what Scott Fraser has got to look at. Players like Aluko, when he's been asked to do roles, he's done them well. I'm not saying he's been 10 out of 10, but he's done them well. When Fraser's been on the side, he hasn't done them well. I'm sorry. End of story. Now he's gone. Now all these people on here who have been crying in their soup tonight. Look, I love you all, but for God's sake, he's gone. His history. Now on Saturday we play a certain Gillingham, Mr. Chelina, whoever gets selected on Saturday. Let's start turning up. And let's turn this. Look, it's not going to take a lot. It's going to take, to get it right between the ears. You've got the potential to win 4, 5, 6 games on a trot. You must not think of anything else. Just do it.
Okay.
And play for those supporters who pay good money for you. I mean, you're absolutely right about Saturday, Gov. I'll tell you what. I hate to admit this, but I'll tell you what, we was short-handed on Saturday. You don't often hear me say that. I'll tell you what, I support the club whenever and wherever, but I'll tell you what, we was short-changed on Saturday.
On that point, take a breath because you've raised some really good points.
Sorry, Gav.
No, one to each of the contributors. So for yourself, Tom, Colin just said that we were really short. And he said, some fans are crying into their soup. Some are saying the season's over, white flag, blah, 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 whatever. Being short, no reinforcements as of yet. Can you see why some fans are upset? Or are they overreacting in your opinion, having listened to what Colin had to say there and looking at the business so far?
I think it's perfectly reasonable to want more because we know what resource we've got to do it. And I think we've let some deadwood go and we've probably balanced out the books a bit and we've got that extra resource if we want it. But McKenna's probably got a size squad he's comfortable with. We've got rid of some players out on loan. We've released some contracts and I think he's comfortable with what he's got. He's probably well enough stocked in each position now and he's just got to work with them. And I think just to answer Colin as well I honestly didn't really think I was being that negative. I just think I'm just being I'm thinking about the damage that was kind of done before McKenna came in. I think McKenna's done an amazing job. He's got a third of our wins of the season in 6 games, which is remarkable. In my opinion, I think the damage might have been done already, but I'm really excited by him and his team and his project and what's going forward. So I think we can go into every game that we can win it, absolutely. But it's just that gap is getting a bit bigger. And
just to elaborate on that point,
we can't get back to it. But
you're really impressed with what McKenna's brought into into the football club. Is that another reason why fans maybe this evening are a little bit upset, a little bit angry, because the playoffs are slipping away, and yet you can see you've got a really good coach, really good manager, and maybe the fans wanted extra given to him, a cannon as opposed to an archer, because you can see you've got a good general. Is that why they're upset? Because there's a reason why some of the fans tonight, Tom, are upset and some aren't. I'm just trying to get the answers as to why.
Yeah, but I guess we don't know what he wants. He might not want much more, because he might want to work with a set group of players that he can manage and control, and it might be the right size for him. Cook had to work with quite a few players and he couldn't manage them, and it was too much. And I think McKenna's been able to assess a lot quicker, and if he asked for a player, I would doubt he couldn't get them, to be honest. I think we've got the power and the resource to do that. So okay.
199 from Mr. Neil
Also,
Perks. Thank you,
go.
Neil. Appreciate that. Hang on, Colin. Tux, to yourself.
Sorry,
Colin
go.
Scott Fraser. Why are fans as upset tonight as perhaps they are losing Scott Fraser? Because everything Colin said there regarding the player and his stats kind of reflect that, 20 appearances, 1 goal. It's not set the world alight. So why do you think fans are upset tonight about losing Scott Fraser?
I think ultimately it's frustration that the fact that, when he's played, it's been very rare that he's played in a number 10 role. Like Colin said, he's always been shunted out left. And for me, I agree with what Colin's saying about Luco. You play him across that front three, he gives you a game, he puts a shift in, scores goals, assists, etc., etc. But Scott Fraser, for me, is a different type of player. He needs the ball more at his feet. He can't, give and go. Do you know what I mean? He's not that kind of player. He hasn't got the pace in there either. So when he's been playing out wide, he's been kind of essentially wasted. And I know he's a left-footed player, but, ultimately he hasn't got the pace there. He hasn't got the trickery for it. He's more suited as he was in the MK Dons role, where he was just behind that striker. And you saw what he did. And, I'm sure that he'll go and play for Charlton and probably replicate that form potentially. And that's what people are frustrated by. And that's why people are sad to see Fraser go. But also, he has gone. And Colin's completely right. He's nail on the head where, we shouldn't be crying over him now. He's gone. He wanted to go. He don't want to stay here, did he? He knows that he's got, the likes of Aluko, Selena, Chaplin ahead of him, really. Because they can all give that kind of ball to feet, give and go. They've also got a bit of pace about them. So actually, he's probably the 4th choice, really, in that number 10 role, as we've seen. Hence why he's out on the left most of the time when Cook was playing him. But I'm sad to sort of see him going away because one, he didn't fulfil his potential while he was with us. I think he's a good player. If I'm honest, I think we signed the wrong player in terms of that role. I thought we should have signed Scott Twine because he was unreal last season and he's proven to be that still. But yeah, I think there's more frustration, Gov, in terms of why people are upset about Fraser going.
£20 from Duncan Ferro. Apart from Burns, no one has been a success. I don't like Ashton apart from Burns, no one's been a success, so I don't like Ashton's computer jiggery. Duncan, thank you for the comment. Thank you for the super chat. That's how you get the comment on the screen if you're at home. Thank you, Duncan. Colin, before I bring in Mr. Parry and then Alex, what's your final point this evening?
My final point is everybody, please, keep with the club and keep, and just keep believing, because we must keep believing. The season's not dead. Look, people might think I come on here and I say that just for the sake of saying it. Look, we've got Gillingham on Saturday, who, let's be honest about it, I know they've got Neil Harris in now. Look, I saw that club only a few weeks ago away from home, and they are absolutely awful. Absolutely, we should have won 7 or 8-0 at least at their place at Priestfield. If we can't win that game on Saturday, well, I kind of give up. So 3 points, give me on Saturday. Following Tuesday, we're playing Doncaster. Lose nearly every week, right? So there's 2 kind of gimmies. Saturday and Tuesday. We then go to MK Dons in front of probably about 6,000 or 7,000 town fans. So if any, I heard the other day of a certain person, some Milton Keynes person said, "Oh, it don't matter how many you bring." Well, that does. That does. I've been going to Football League grounds for God knows how many years. And when you take 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, if that's what it's going to be, away from home, that will make a difference. Trust me, Milton Keynes Dons, that will make a difference. And that will make a difference as long as we turn up, we can win that game. Now, after that, we've got Burton and Cheltenham. February, I'll tell you what, I'm going to shout it out now. We can do, as long as we get it right and the fans get behind the side, which I know they will do at MK, by the end of February, we could pull in 15 points. Now, if we did that, and on paper, I know football's not one on paper, but on paper, we could quite easily do that.
Bob Lockhart, our fan base have been the same for years, up and down, never in between.
And if we do that,
thank you, Bob.
There won't be one person on this channel who will be saying that we can't make those playoffs. Even if we get 13 points, 4 wins and a draw at MK, which I personally think we'll win the other 4 games.
But Colin, if my gran had wheels, she'd be a BMX.
You can say, Rich, you can say I'm dreaming. I'm not asleep, son. I'm not asleep, Rich.
That is a great lyric. I'm not. You can say I'm dreaming, but I'm not asleep, son. That's got to be an Arctic Monkeys song, Tom. I can feel the lyric through the screen right now. Colin, as always, it's a pleasure. Look after yourself.
Cheers, Gav.
Warm. Stephen Parry, we are 3 minutes away from possibly seeing Rakeem Harper unveiled at Crewe. I'll keep you up to date on that one. You're always a positive fella, just like the GOAT. How are you feeling this evening?
Well, at the end of the day, everybody can sit here and say, well, we haven't signed. Well, it's not finished yet, so they might still be working on something. We don't know. All this has come from the East Anglia saying they're not doing anything. The club's not said nothing yet. So, let's not forget, the East Anglian were well behind the bell curve on Thompson. They didn't know that until they started the pod, so they don't know everything, But the top and bottom of it is like, this is a consequence. And I know we all want signings. Every team wants signings, but let's be fair. If we're going for the same players as Sunderland and Wigan, they're going to switch Sunderland and Wigan just based on league position. And that's a consequence of Paul Cook messing about with us at the beginning of the season. We could argue that it was all the signings. No, I think the signings were the right ones. And I think most of the signings did well. At the end of the day, even Liverpool turn around and say 50% is the average for a, signing success rate. But it all comes as a consequence. And, we've got a slim chance of promotion. It's still a chance, but it's a slim chance. And you can probably see the owners sitting back there and saying, we've got a £10 million wage bill. Sunderland's only got a £6 million wage bill. They've got a better chance of promotion than we have. Why don't we just see what happens? We've still got a damn good squad in this league. I don't care. Our first team, when it's fully fit and firing, will challenge anyone in this league. Nobody expected us to go and double Wickham. Nobody expected us to get some of the results. Yeah, we've had some awful results as well. That goes back to the consistency. But that goes back to training. That doesn't go back to who we sign. Let's say we sign Matete and Morsey didn't get suspended or injured for the rest of the season. Matete doesn't play. What's the point? He's coming in as a spur. Now, even Kieran himself turned around and said, we'll get someone if we can improve the team. Yeah, we can argue all we like whether Backinson or Thompson improves the team. For me, they need more time. The jury's out. Yeah, give them a bit more time. If people are complaining that Fraser didn't have enough time with 20 games, then stop getting on Backinson's back after 2. Because he's definitely not had enough time. So
sorry, Steve. It has been confirmed Rakeem Harper has joined Crewe on loan. Just what's your instant thoughts on that one? £5 from Space Jim. Thanks for all the content. No problem, Space Jim. Instant thoughts on that one then, Tux, because it's another midfield option lost without another reinforcement brought in. Is it a good loan for the player, though? League One football.
Yeah, I think it's a good move. I think he needs to go out and play football. I think he's more one for the future. Hopefully, he can get some games. Obviously, get some confidence, and obviously return in for the new season a better player. But I mean, I've liked what I've seen of him when he has played. But it's just that I think for me, he just needs that run of games, and I think over his career, he hasn't really had that to date. So I think if he can go out, as I say, play games, and then come back a better player, then yeah, all for it.
And thank you, John Warren, for becoming a new YouTube member. We appreciate that, John. Thank you. Welcome to the family. Tom, Ashley Bell says we're now he'd say we're short in midfield. That leaves Morsey, Backinson, Carroll, Elmiz. What is that? Four, possibly five. Evans is five players for two positions. Is it now dangerously short with another hour or so? Well, 2 hours to go as the window closes. We can see some movement there, do you think?
Quite possibly, unless he thinks Aluko can play in there as like last resort cover or anything like that. But
because Morsey's still up for 2 more games, though, isn't he? So you've got, and Lee Evans, we do not know. So let's go on the basis Evans is injured. Tom Carroll, you weren't having paternity leave, son. That's cancelled on you. So because you've got Carroll and Elmiz along with Backinson, that's your three for 2. Does that work, Tom?
I'd be surprised if he was let go if we're so short and Evans isn't anywhere near fit. It would seem ridiculous to me. So either someone's coming in or they're fit and they're ready to go. And I think they're just going to ride out the 2 games and hope we can get through the bottom 2 teams in this league. Again, it's risky because Morsey can get injured at any point.
Or suspended. We know he loves the yellow. So he loves the yellow.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's the point. What they're doing now is, they started off getting all some of the dead wood out, some of the players that we knew were going to go, but they just wanted to get them out now, get them off the wage bill, and they probably took a look at the season, a look at how it's gone, look at how it could end, and made an evaluation of, well, we're winning with this squad. We could go all out and spend millions and get all these players in and us still not make it. And then players disappear, and they've thought, is that worth doing? No, it could quite easily do it. It would cheer the fan base up no end. But if we do that and don't make it and then they all get poached at the end of the year, what's the bloody point? We just have to do it again. So they've probably thought, well, let's just keep what we've got. I still say we've made the best signing probably in the last 10 years. Getting Walton in League One, that is no easy feat. I guarantee he had championship offers. That is no easy feat. So you can't turn around and say we've not had a good window or a bad window. We've had a good window, depending on how you look at it. If you want to look at it just as a basic fan and say, oh, well, we're not signing anybody, everybody else is, then yes, bad window. But if you look at it, the fact where we are in the league, the fact that we can hit the ground running now in the summer, because we've got rid of all the dead wood. The players that we would have had to let go in the summer, we've already let go. So it makes it a lot easier to start getting deals done throughout, as it starts getting up to the season. And
sorry, Steve, hit the ground running so we can start next summer. So are you writing this season?
I'm not. No,
what are you saying then? What are you saying?
I'm saying I'm looking at it from how they're looking at it, how the owners and Mark Ashton are looking at it. They can't look at it as a fan and say they can't look at it like Colin looked at it. They just can't. No. It's a business. Yeah. Like I said on Twitter, when everybody's going, oh, can we have this person? Are you getting your wallets out? This is not our money. We have to start being realistic about this. Let's look at bloody Derby and see how that happened. We can't just keep spending money and hope that there's going to be no consequence. It has to be run smartly and properly, and that's what they're trying to do. They're looking at it and saying, look, we have a chance. It might only be a 5% chance, but we've got a squad that's beaten, people who are in the top 6. So let's just see what we've got. I think we've still added some players that could do the business in Thompson and Backinson. Let's see how they go. Like I said, the jury's out on them. We may still do some deals. We don't know yet. So I just think to just be knee-jerk as a fan and go, it's been awful, takes away everything that we've done all month. The January transfer window.
Okay,
is not
all right. No, good point.
And I think it takes everybody focuses on this one day. It's like Sky Sports have the little yellow ties and suits on, and everybody focuses on the one day that this is the most important day of the world. And it's not. We've done most of our business, and it was done and dusted, most of it. And all we're doing now is just a little bit of housekeeping so that, you know, our wage bill doesn't go out the bloody window.
Okay.
And I just
Jake
think
James says
best
all the
one-
languages to choose
all
from,
right.
and Stephen decided to speak facts. But I could see one man shaking his head violently in the VIP area. That was the fisherman.
I
He'll
know.
be back after this brief message. Hello, you
I love
lovely
you.
lot. I am here very quickly to discuss Woodpecker Mortgages and Protection, run by Ipswich Town fan Graham. So you know you're in good hands if you go with Woodpecker Mortgages and Protection. I want to discuss the income protection service they do with you. You all know me and you all know my story. Literally one day I went out into that big wide world, a scary world, and I had an injury which left me disabled and unable to work. Just like that, I lost my income. Just like that. That's a click there. Crazy. This may have been an answer to a prayer, because obviously when you can't work, you can't earn. And when you can't earn, your bills are still going to be there wanting to be paid, like children needing to be fed. This could have been an answer to my prayer and taken some stress away from me and let me focus on my mental and physical health. Income protection insurance, it's not for everybody, but it might be for you. So give Graham a call on 01636 337 447 or email graham@woodpeckermortgages.co.uk. And I must say, your home may be repossessed if you do not keep up repayments on your mortgage. You know it makes sense, you lovely people. Perfect. That guy is sexy. So, Stephen, knee jerk, housekeeping, not over, but can start the season running next year. Vince Bird then says, don't think awful, just a sign of low ambition for the season. A squad as Backington and Muzani starting on the weekend does not spell ambition for promotion. Knee jerk. This man's not a knee jerk, is he, Steve? Here he is.
Can I just say one point before I go? Yeah.
Speak.
And
Yeah.
I do say this, and this is me being honest now. If we were in the top, if we had never had a bad start and we were in the top 4, our transfer window would have been different. That I promise you.
But if my granddad will should be a BMX.
Oh yeah, that's the point. You know, Sunderland and Wigan are strengthening, and everybody's going, "Oh look, they're all buying."
Yeah.
And that's because they're in the top 4.
But then, is that not? And sorry, Mike, we'll bring you in just a second. Is that not is that not because Paul Cook fouled? Yes, but the window itself in the summer wasn't great. Mike, over to you. What do you think of the situation? Stephen has been positive. Colin's been positive. The two contributors have been fairly positive. What do you make of it?
Do you know what? I was watching some of the Talking Town. My wife's got COVID, so I'm doing all the school runs and stuff like that. You know how it is. Anyway, I was watching some of the earlier podcasts of the start of when we were doing, when we were signing all these players, and the way that some of the fans were like, "Oh yeah, Scott Fraser, he's going to be, he's brilliant, and what a signing! Rakeem Harper, player of the season." All these players that were coming, exactly. All these fans were coming on this podcast, praising the players that we were signing and now calling them Deadwood. I have a major issue with that. Because I'll tell you something now, I'd have rather got rid of El Mazzuni and Harper and kept Fraser right now. Right, we've got Aluko, who's got 30 plus. We've got Selena, who's not our player, who has one good game in 4. He's not a team player. He scores a worldie and everybody loves him. You know, there's a Selena fan base out there who seem to think he's world class. He is not, because he's playing in League One. Bottom line. And Walton, okay, so that was a good scoop to buy a third choice Premier League player. Yeah? Okay, he's done all right. I'll give a boy some credit. He's done not too bad since he's come in. Right? But I'm telling you now, right, we're sitting here talking about getting rid of Deadwood players like Fraser. We've got Backington who's just come in, unproven. We've got Thompson on the left, who's, again, kind of unproven, but he does come with a bit of pedigree. But, I mean, we getting rid of players, and now we're left with what? Like two low knees in the midfield. If Morsey or Evans gets majorly injured, so our season gone. I mean, we were all praising these signings when they were coming in after the Evans crap, and now what? Another reset? I mean, really?
You're turning around and saying if such and such, then we're back to if my granddad wheels should be a bike. If anything happened, if Salah gets injured for Liverpool's buggered. It doesn't mean they go out and buy a world class striker, does it? Football's about risk. What I'm saying is, I never called Fraser Deadwood. I meant Deadwood as I like to getting rid of Nolan, getting rid of people that we know we're going to go.
Don't you go dissing my John Nolan.
Oh, bollocks, he was crap. Getting rid of Nolan, getting rid of NC Allen, the deadwood that have been here for God knows how long. Yeah. We tried to get rid of for God knows how long, and nobody sodding wanted them.
But Stephen, we've now got rid of Harper. We've now got rid of Harper's gone out on loan. Right, Nolan's gone, which we knew, which was always on the cards anyway. NC needed to go because he just wasn't really what we needed, right? But this Fraser, this guy had better stats than bloody Fernandes of Man United.
Like I said to you, Mike, yeah, I was 11 stone last year. A year is a long time. Yeah, I don't look like I did last year. His stats, he's come in. There was a lot of reasons why he had them stats at MK. Yeah, it could have been the players that he was playing with. It could have been the system he was playing in. There's a lot of reasons why he had them stats. And when players change clubs, they change systems, they change environments, they change players. And one player can make a player better.
All right.
Cook for me.
Player better. And I just say this one thing, yeah? We signed Fraser, yeah? And we did sign the wrong one. We should have signed Twine. What we did was we signed.
No one was saying that when we signed Scott Fraser, though.
Cruncher was. Listen,
only one person.
I'm not saying that. I like Fraser, but I think Paul Cook bought him with the eye to play him as a left in one of the three. Yeah, and I think he made a mistake, and this is us fixing that mistake. I think it was like Barry. He probably bought him with the thought of playing him in the three, and it didn't work, or somebody else came in to take his place. And he ended up being like, playing second fiddle. And it was like, well, we're going to have to do something with him, And the furthest thing on the lad isn't, people were saying, why we sold him to Charlton. Well, what are we going to do? Keep him here until he's worth nothing?
Well,
it's fair on the lad to let him go.
Let me just bring.
We don't even know. He might have pushed for this move.
Well, we don't. So this is it. We don't know everything or anything about football. We're just having a conversation. What do you take from it, Tux? That Charlton were quite willing to pay the same we led to believe as we paid for a player, despite, as Stephen says, the stats not being good. Does that show actually that another team, another scouting department, have viewed this as well, like we probably did in the summer, a player that can only get better and increase in value? Have we lost by not waiting to the summer? What do you think?
Yeah, well, they've got a professional scouting system, haven't they? And they look at it from a point of view that, when Fraser was at MK Dons, he was absolutely ripping it up. He comes here, he's played left wing. He's not had a great deal of chance because he's got three people ahead of him in that position. Rightly or wrongly, those three players are there ahead of him in that position. So, I think obviously the three that are ahead of him or were ahead of him, have come from a higher league or have got some sort of pedigree that make them better than Fraser in that position. So the only way that Cook could ever play him, really, and we're talking about Cook because he was the only one who played him, McKenna's not really played him. So Cook played him on the left. So it's not. Don't take a rocket scientist to work out that actually Fraser is better as a number 10 because the stats back it up. But also, there's no point in him sort of staying here, really.
But
there's no point in him staying here if he's going to be fourth choice.
But then, Tux, as a football club, if you keep him here as a fourth choice, do you lose a lot of money by waiting to the summer to possibly sell him on, or do you actually not lose that much value?
Give him a chance in that number 10 role.
But he doesn't.
We've got Gillingham and a few games coming up, which we realistically on paper we should be beating. So why? No disrespect, but if you've got a player with them kind of stats, why would you bring a player in with them kind of stats and not play him in his natural position?
And do you know where
the stats
from? A number 8 in a 3 in midfield and a 3-5-2. He didn't get it as a number 10. He got it as a number 8.
So,
you can go back and check MK Don's season.
Listen, he was
in the midfield.
He played as between the number 8 and the number 10. At the end of the day, he played in his natural position.
Right. Fuck, I'm going to start muting people now. Fuck's sake. Right. In that case, Steve, playing where the fuck you need to be played is what I would answer that back with. The guy was ripping it up.
I'll tell you what, if we played 4-3-3, he'd rip it up.
If he played in goal, I'd play him in goal. Like wherever he needed to be, he was playing.
We don't play 3 in midfield. That's the point. If we played 3 in midfield, if we played a normal 3-5-2, he'd be smart in that. But we play number 10s, so it doesn't work.
Great points. I've got Alex waiting. Stephen,
no worries.
Have a pear cider.
I'll look after yourselves.
We love you. We love you. We love you. Good old Steve. Right. Before I bring in Alex, TJ, I just want to ask you what Lewis brought to the chat. I love when Steve gets all passionate.
He's brilliant, isn't he?
He's a great guy. Lewis Robinson. Fraser, obviously knee-jerk to missing out on Cook or Crooks. Is that a fair point, TJ? Do you think actually in the summer we kind of reacted to not getting the Rotherham number 10 by knee-jerking to get the nearest number 10 we could?
Possibly because we didn't get Selena to the last day, and he was probably the target we wanted at the start along with Crooks. But we signed too many of the same position, and someone had to be a casualty of it. And Fraser wasn't being made much of a better player sitting in fourth pecking order. So it probably suited him. He might have wanted to go. I think I would have done the same if that was me. But yeah, it's just not worked out. It happens. We have jobs sometimes where it just doesn't work out. It's not the right fit. So I think he'll.
But that comes down to the manager, though, doesn't it? It comes down to Paul Cook, and it also comes down to Kieran McKenna, because McKenna didn't even give him a chance to play him in his.
He's been unfit under McKenna, to be fair. McKenna's not had a chance to play him because he's had this knee injury. Do you feel actually, had he been fit when McKenna took charge, Mike? Do you think he actually would have been? Because only on Friday, McKenna was glowingly speaking about having seen him play for MK, seen him play for Burton, etc.
That's what I can't get my head around. I mean, you've got this player whose stats were ridiculously brilliant last season. I mean, they really were. And loads of us fans on here and fans on Twitter and social media were like, yeah, what a signing. And now, like, you know, they're like, oh, well, yeah, just because he like what's his name, Tuxford, you know, he's played left side. You know, he's not playing his natural position. You know, Kieran McKenna's come in. He wants to play a certain way. I get that. But you've got a really good number 10 there. And Kev Sherwood is bang on. Selena is crap. He has one good game in bloody 4. Right? He was crap at Swansea. He had one good season with us. And everybody gets all creamy over him. I'm sorry, but I'm
never say that again. Please never, ever, ever say that.
With the media mogul, again. I kind of lost my patience with him with Selena. Do you know what I mean?
Was that a sentence when you woke up this morning, Mark, that you thought you'd hear the fisherman mention get creamy over someone?
Not particularly, but I think for me, if we're looking at those number 10s, if you said to me out of those 4 10s, and that's with Fraser included, if one of them had to go, I probably would have said Fraser to go, because I don't see, I just said about the stats and all that sort of stuff, but I actually think Chaplin's a better player in that position. I think Aluko's a better player in that position. Selena, I do agree with you that he has the odd game here and there where he's good, and then, you know, most of it is a passenger. But ultimately, he's got that something that no one else has in this team, really. So for me, he keeps his place in that. But ultimately, Fraser, in a way, had to go because he was 4th choice.
Yeah.
Well, what Selena has, he has one good game in 4.
Well, but he's on loan. So let's just say you can't.
Good enough to get us promoted, is it?
But let's say you can't change the it's a season-long loan. Contracts all got tied in. You can't get out of it. That's a good question, that, Mike. Mark, you would have gone with Fraser to leave out of Aluko, Chaplin, and Fraser. Tom, I'll ask you the question. Aluko, Chaplin, and Fraser. You have to get rid of one. Would it have been Fraser that you would have got rid of the same as Ashton has, or would you have gone for another one of those 3?
Only based on form and playing time, I would have got rid of Fraser as well, because Aluko's proved a lot of people wrong. And yeah, I wouldn't get rid of Chaplin. But I do agree as well. I think Mike might have said it on Twitter about long-term value as well. Fraser probably has that over Selena and Aluko, which he does. He's long-term value. But if we've recouped it, then great. We've not lost out too much.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't see the best of Chaplin playing that number 10 role.
Okay, all right. Eddie Spaghetti, this argument is easily settled in a few weeks. Let's see how Fraser gets on and revisit the conversation. Alex, same question to you. Fraser, Chaplin, and Aluko. I would have got rid of, if it was all things equal, it would have been Aluko for me. Chaplin's 24, Fraser's 26, Sonny Aluko's early 30s. Player trading, developing. There's only 2 players really that have still got to get better. One is at his peak or has just gone past it. That's Sonny Aluko. Now, obviously, form-wise, you're going to say I'm mad, but long-term value, long-term ability, Chaplin and Fraser, you would think should edge it. So you've had 2 Frasers, 1 Aluko. Alex, what do you think?
For me, I'm in the Fraser camp. You know, the way we got to look at it is, I don't think he fits the way McKenna wants to play particularly.
Okay. Tell us why.
He's a ball to feet midfielder, put his head up, look around, and then pass out. I think McKenna wants to play quicker than that. You know, I think McKenna wants, you know, like Tuck said earlier on, that little intricate sort of passing, and you know, move the ball forward quickly. I think Fraser need that time for the team that plays a little bit slower to look up and pick a pass. I don't think that's how McKenna wants to play. And for me, had we got rid of him on a cut price deal, then I would have been angry. But the fact I've read that we've potentially got more than what we paid for him, you know, so for me, we haven't really lost out. And I just don't see him getting in ahead of what, you know. Yeah, you could argue, I see your point, Gov, that, you know, Aluko's maybe got 6 months, a year left in him. But you've got to look at it in this way, that is Fraser going to get in ahead of Aluko right now? No. Does Fraser want to sit around for 6 months and go again next year? Maybe not. You know, and something else, you know, he's had to move and come here. Let's say he hasn't settled, you know, for whatever reason. Let's say, I don't know if he's got a partner or a child or something like that. Let's just say he hasn't at all, and that's through no fault of his own. You know, players just don't settle in an area. Maybe his partner didn't settle. You know, I'm going to throw out that I used to work with Ellis Harrison's wife when he was here. You know, and as tough as that was, you know, you could argue that she didn't settle down here because I worked with her every day for 6 months. You know, whereas getting to London, you never know, that maybe that just gives them a better family life. And if that helps him, then who are we to stand in his way and say, you know, you can't have that because you've got a contract with us, you know? And does he really want to sit around when he can go to Charlton and play? Possibly not.
Okay. Let's just switch our focus a little bit, Alex, to the left back position. Dominic Thompson coming in this loan in this January window. Hayden Coulson recalled and gone. Matt Phillips, new YouTube member. Thank you very much, Mr. Phillips. About fucking time, pal. That's all I'm going to say about that. Christ. Hayden Coulson recalled and then instantly loaned back out to Peterborough. With I believe I've read in the chat, raring to go. Is it upgrade? Is it go on, Alex? Sorry.
Until someone tackles him.
What a sentence. Poor bloke. He did have a fitness issue. Not in that he wasn't fit, Mark, in that he was made of crisps.
Let's be fair. If we were to play and he played, the first thing one of our players are going to do is just going to give a physical tackle, aren't they? And hopefully he'll go down injured. You know what I mean?
No, that's true. But are you surprised? Is it an upgrade? I guess is the question. All things equal, players staying fit.
Yeah, I would say probably is. You know, he's played in the Premier. He's got credibility at Arsenal. You know, they obviously rate him. I do maybe think had KVY not got himself suspended.
Sorry, Alex, I've missed the super chat. £2.50 from Neil Perks. Fraser way too slow. Selena not showing enough. Neil, I am so sorry. The chat just moved so quickly. I did not see it come in. I am so sorry. Thank you very much for your £2.50. Sorry, Alex, carry on. Sorry, Neil, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I do wonder with how quickly the Thompson deal sort of materialised after KVY getting sent off against Wimbledon. I do wonder, had KVY not got sent off, would they have got Thompson in? Would Thompson more of a thing of he's on the back burner if we need him, or was he going to give was it a case of Penny isn't going to make Saturday? We need a left back to come in and do it. They've been talking to Thompson. Maybe Thompson was one of those on the back burner, and sort of, if we've got a space for you, then we'll fill it. Because I think had KVY not got sent off on against Wimbledon, then KVY would be our left back.
Okay. James Reed says, "Summers Pigott, best forward in this league for the last 3 years. We don't play him." TJ Pigott, best forward in the last 3 years. No further developments on that one. How upset would you be if Joe Pigott was to find his way up the A14 to Cambridge?
If it's on loan, I think I'm fine with that, and rather give Simpson a choice as fourth choice striker, because one of them's got to go. To be honest, we can't have both of them sitting around. So, yeah, I would like to keep him and see what he can do in pre-season, like a full pre-season under McKenna. See if he can get some of that form back, because he has bagged a lot in the past few years in this league. And if we're still in it, then we might need someone of that caliber, especially if Bond doesn't come back, for example.
Do you fear, though, if Pigott leaves, you're a little bit short? You've got Macaulay Bonne, James Norwood, who's always one jump away from, sadly, a couple of weeks on the sidelines, Caden Jackson. That's your only three striking options, Tom. If Joe was to depart, we don't know if he will. Are you still happy to see him out on loan, if it is a loan?
Well, unless they see something in Simpson and he's got the strength to maybe do something up front, they could be quite similar. We don't know. Just one's got more experience than the other at the minute.
It's a hell of a bargaining chip, isn't it, Mark? If you have got a player such as Simpson who maybe is stalling on contract terms, we've now got this position. It needs to be filled. Make it your own, and prove that you're worth whatever you want, or to whatever club.
Yeah, I mean, if Simpson's not going back out on loan, then obviously he's going to stay here, and I think that's going to be a bit of a dent to him if he doesn't get played. So I would probably be inclined to give Pigott, a bit of confidence, a bit of game time, because he's not going to get that here. So go out on loan, prove us all kind of pretty much wrong, really. And as TJ is saying, come back full season, get a pre-season under your belt, and then go again. But I think Simpson, he's kind of on form. Albeit it's a league above, but at the same time he could come in. He's a different option, and for me, I agree about Norwood, but I think Norwood is our best striker. He's got to be the team, the player that we build this team around. But he is only a jump away from an injury. But if you're going to get someone who's going to come in and replace that type of player, Simpson's your man for me.
Yeah. Are you guys not worried about all the changes that we've got with these new players coming in like this, and we're getting rid of players, I mean, really, is El Mazzuni the answer in our midfield?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Not exactly. I mean, you kept
not for me.
Is Caden Jackson our answer for striking?
Yes.
No.
Every day of the week.
No.
Exactly. So why ain't they gone out the door? I'd rather have seen both of them go out the door than lose Fraser.
Well, the issue is, mate, it works two ways. You can push them out of the door all you like. You've still got to have somebody who's opening their door to let them in.
Yeah, I know.
But it's also the fact that Fraser wanted to go, didn't he? He doesn't want to stay here.
Yeah.
He's got a choice himself that he wants to go.
I can't blame him.
If he's not being played, would you want to stay? I mean, look, the reality is, if you're doing a job, if you're in to do a job and you're not being asked to do it, then and you've got an opportunity to go elsewhere to do it and actually get to do your job. Surely that's a no-brainer.
Well,
doesn't mean
what's Johnny Jackson? All Johnny Jackson's got to say to him is that, Scott, come play for me, son. I'll play in the number 10 role. Play for the rest of the season. If that's all he's got to say, really, isn't he? If he doesn't, he doesn't. But that's all he's got to say. Scott Fraser's going to have his ears pricked up and be like, "Well, yeah, I'm not going to sit here."
Well, yeah, because he's not getting no time here, is he?
Yeah,
absolutely. Dominic Thompson, Mark, left back. I've seen some fans say can't defend, great going forward. I've seen other fans like Lee say the Brentford fan was correct, not great going forward, okay defending. There's literally not a consensus with how he played on Saturday. What are you expecting from him moving forward in terms of to bring to that left side? What do you want to see?
I mean, ultimately, you want a player that's going to play in that position, that's going to kind of maraud forward, but also come back and defend, because it's a full back role. You've got to do that.
What's the more important role?
The job. Well, the main point of a fullback is to bomb on forward, really, but also do that defensive role like Burns does or KVY does. But I think it's difficult to kind of judge him at the moment. He's only played a game. I can't really comment. I didn't see the Sheffield Wednesday game, but from the Swindon point of view, he was out on loan there, impressed quite well. Brentford seem to rate him quite highly. So these are not silly teams. You know what I mean? They're good teams at the end of the day, and I think he comes here at a bit of a difficult time. We need to kind of fill that hole. because I feel like we kind of plugged it a little bit with KVY, but it's like square pegs, round holes for me. So, Thompson coming in, natural left-footed player, natural left wing back, then hopefully we could see a bit more of him as the games come thick and fast, really. So I think it's a decent signing. And at the end of the day, I liked Coulson from the little that I saw of him, but as the fisherman said, at the end of the day, what you got to do is run into him when he falls over. So, it's
True.
You want that player that's going to play a consistent role, that's got that balance on that side as well, and not a square peg in a round hole at the end of the day.
Jeremy wants the link, and he's given £1.79. Link, Jeremy. I called you Link. Sorry, Jeremy. Jeremy, thank you ever so much for your £1.79. Alex, rate the windows then. If all things end up as they are currently at 9:45, what would you rate our January window? Making up for the mistakes of the summer, or building on a good foundation?
I'd go for a 7 out of 10 because I think I don't think whatever way you look at it, we were never going to do loads of business this window because of the sheer amount of business that got done in the summer. For me, it was a case of get Walton in and done.
Mm-hmm.
Did that. Get potentially more left back cover. We did that. And I can see the point about potentially letting players go to free up wage budget. That if we don't spend it in the next couple of hours, there's wage budget there for next year. And I'm going to be slightly controversial. Before anyone shoots me down, this isn't me saying, season's over and all of that. So don't come at me. But the thing is, look at it this way. I would rather miss out this year, give McKenna another full year and a summer transfer window to get in the players that he wants, and then go again next year, rather than scrape in last day of the season this year, go up to the championship, get trounced.
Fuck that. I'm down for getting trounced. I'll say that right now. I am down for getting trounced every week. I just want out of this shit league. Full stop.
And then come back, because I think potentially with the turnover and us having to sort of fix, the flops almost, part of me does say that this year could be 1 year too early.
Mark, I'm down for getting thrashed. I'll happily take a thrashing.
Yeah, I would. It's got to be progression at the end of the day, and the sooner the opportunity you can get into the next league, the better. You rip your hand off to get there. But I think I do agree with what Alex is saying. But it's wishful thinking. I think when you say that give McKenna another year, but the likes of Burns will go. Someone's going to go and get him because he's a quality player. If he stays with us and we're in this same league, he ain't fucking staying here. I'll tell you that now. Nord will probably go. He won't want to sign his new contract. So there's players, even at this position now where points off the bloody playoffs, teams are going to come, circling around us, and they'll want our best players. And unfortunately, football don't work like that, where you give someone another year, and then hopefully it will all turn out rosy. You're a victim of your own success, unfortunately.
And I also think, Alex, a playoff spot is what this club needs after years of not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
That would be clear progression, but it's not going to happen probably this year. Tom, have you seen a more stranger signing than Aaron Ramsey going on loan to Rangers? Have you seen that one today? BBC Sport have just again tweeted it out, I think. Ramsey to Rangers.
Seems a bit out the blue, but I don't know how much he's done at Juventus at all, really. So I think he was linked at Burnley a week ago. He wasn't gone there, so it's probably... Yeah, all right. I don't really follow Scottish football, to be honest. So good luck to him.
Mickey Mouse, isn't it?
It is a bit. Craig at Portsmouth, if you don't get up to it, it's impossible. We've waited too long to write another season off. Mike, I love you. Look after that cough.
Before I go, we cannot be saying we go again. Like Cruncher said, we cannot be saying we go again next season. We go again the next season.
We go again.
We go again the next season. That.
I love it.
Right. New owners came in. Yes, I know our start didn't help. The season isn't over. There's still 51 points to play for. Right. And we've got to try. We've got to do our best to get out of this league now. I don't want another season in League One. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of seeing this club play the shit of that's Accrington Stanley and the just fed up with it. We go, yeah, I know. So for me, this transfer window has been a fall. Right now, that's my opinion. That's how I feel about it. The only good thing about it, really, I feel, is Walton, because that's he's a.
Why are you saying it's a fall, Mike? Out of interest, what would you say?
Because I can't understand the thinking of getting rid of Fraser when there's for me, I just can't get my head around that one. Why Jackson's still here? Why El Mazzuni has got ahead of Fraser all of a sudden now? Why Harper's gone again? All these players that loads of fans were raving about at the start of the season, apart from Mazzuni, obviously, and now like, oh well, Deadwood or they needed to go or whatever. For me, it just don't wash, and I just think too many changes, getting rid of players that have been around the squad and that, Look, no, I've been underwhelmed. Unless suddenly we get Mattetti or whatever from Fleetwood or whatever it was, suddenly at, say, 11 o'clock, then great. But it's been an underwhelming apart from the Walton signing. The rest is just pretty much, we needed a new left back anyway. We need to get a left back from somewhere because Penny is all right, but he's not world beater. Do you know what I mean? And for me, I didn't understand the signing of Backinson. I really didn't. I'm not saying that he's not a good player. Won't be a good player. I just didn't understand that signing.
Okay.
I didn't really.
£5 from Callie Bisler. We go again. Callie, we love you. We thank you very, very much. Mike, we love you. Look after yourself. Very quickly as we close up the show, we'll bring Jeremy in. Jeremy, what's your great shirt, first of all, Jeremy? I love a good town shirt. But what do you made of all the points you've heard tonight? What do you, to close our show, what do you think?
I thought what I heard from Mike the Fisherman was a load of rubbish.
Go on, Jeremy.
Selena is the best since sliced bread.
The best since sliced bread?
Yes.
Okay, before I bring in Tom to answer that point, is he the best since sliced bread? Why is he the best thing since sliced bread, Jeremy?
He's got class, he's got talent, and we just need to harness it in the right way.
£5 from Matt Whitting. If we don't get a decent point shield from Feb, then I'll resign to another season in this league, Matt. Never give up, never give up. Tom, you've heard what Jeremy said there. Best thing since sliced bread. All $4.49 from Matt Stannard. The closing message for tonight. We go again. All right, I'll star that, Matt. Tom, is he the best thing since sliced bread? Is he?
No. He was in the first loan spell with us, and he is a good player. I'm not sure if League One is probably it's definitely the right level for a player of his ability, but whether it's the right fit for what we need right now, and whether his wages would be better suited for a couple of players, maybe to fit different positions. But he is class, and on his day he would be excellent, but he's just not really clicked yet. It could happen second half.
I actually think Jeremy's got a point there with the fact that we need to harness his ability a little bit more. I feel like we don't really use him correctly sometimes, in terms of like Selena's the player that's got like the eye for a pass, but it's not his fault if that player isn't making that run. A couple of goals that Burns has scored, Selena's put it on a plate for him. So, he has got a point.
But how do you unleash that ability then, Tux? Before I do that, $4.49 from Lewis Robinson. Be careful what you wish for. Thank you, Lewis.
You've got to play him. You've got to play him consistently, though, haven't you? It's like any player. Any player that's a talent, you have to play them. You have to play them, don't you? It doesn't matter if you play for Liverpool, Col United, whoever, right? You have to play that player that has talent. If that player plays, he's likely to produce that piece of talent. He's not going to produce it on the bench, is he? He's not going to produce it in the stand. He's got to produce it when he's on the pitch. So Jeremy has got a point there.
But where do you play him, Tux?
For me, I've always kind of made the point that I'm not sure about him as a number 10, but when he played off the left, I can't remember what game it was recently, but he ran the show. So,
Okay.
you know, you've got to find that position that plays with him, but you've also got to find those players that surround him and support him. He can't do it all on his own. And he's come into the club where I think a lot of people think, oh shit, he's just going to rip it up all on his own because he scores goals like he scored. But ultimately, he needs the players to support him.
Well, that's exactly what Craig at Portsmouth's wife just said.
It does come down to consistency.
Craig at Portsmouth, my wife says, and my wife says what you just said there, Tux. Slim needs better players around him. Talking to better people around you, we go again. Look who it is.
Evening, chaps.
Go on, Mark. Finish that point before he starts talking.
I was just going to say about with Andre Giselle. So a lot of people were saying that, Giselle will be a better player if he goes and plays in the Championship because he'd be surrounded by better players. Same with Downs. And that is kind of seemingly being the point now, where if they play at a higher league, they're a better player. Okay, Selena played for Swansea when was it, a couple of years ago, wasn't that great. But again, you've got to be in the right team, right environment.
Absolutely.
If you saw the other week, Downs scored a goal.
Downs been ripping it up at Swansea. Giselle,
the fisherman's just fell off his chair when you said that about Giselle and Downs.
He's Crunch. What do you make of it, or what do you think? Because you've been saying trust the process.
Listen, Scott Fraser, look, big fan, Martin. We spoke about him Friday. Probably one of the most technical players we had at the football club. But it's when you sign 19 players in the summer, there's always going to be casualties, and not everyone's going to come off, are they? So it's just, I wish him the best. I hope he goes to Charlton and rips it up. You know, it's one of them things. We've got so many players, and people still want us to sign more. We were told at the start of the season, I think you said, Martin, we're going to win the league. This is the best squad in the league. Yeah. So the players need to step up, and the players need to perform. You know, we can't we got a wage bill. We got a wage bill, Jeremy. We got a wage bill of over 9 million.
Yeah, look, I know where you're coming from. As long as Fraser doesn't come back and bite us on the butt, as it was said on Sky Sport or on Kings of Anglia, last game of the season, because we played Charlton the last game of the season.
We'll probably be playing for about 9th place then, Jeremy. Anyway, I wouldn't worry about it.
The thing is, though, Crunch, you are right. I did say we win the league, but we have got a large
playoffs
wage budget. But are you not still short in that midfield area, particularly now Harper has gone out on loan?
Especially when I've got a tenner on it.
Oh dear, that's £10. You want to speak to Matt Phillips? He can make a fiver into 30 quid, can't he, Martin? Apparently.
Well,
we're still waiting.
I lost a fiver the other week.
Are we short in midfield? It depends, doesn't it? I think Lee Evans was in training last week, wasn't he? I think Friday. I'd probably expect him back on Saturday, Martin. We missed him on Saturday. I said at the start of the window, I didn't think we really needed to add that many. I thought we've got some good players. They just need to perform more consistently. You know, that's the word that we've been looking for. And I just sit tight and I'd wait till the summer. You know, Kieran's he's been here 6 games. He's still looking at the squad. You know, he's still running his eye over who he's going to keep, who he's not going to keep. We've moved out some deadwood today, haven't we? John Nolan's gone. Bailey Clements has gone. Matt Stannard, you know, he's found his level down at Stevenage. He has. It's not good enough. Come on. He's not good enough. Not for where we want to go. So it is what it is. And we've got another game on Saturday, which we should win. We've got a game at Doncaster, which we should win. But it's when we go to places like MK and Oxford, Wigan at home, all these teams, we've got to play them, Tux. We have to beat them because the games are running out. We've got 17 games to go. I think we need to win 12 of them.
We do, yeah.
We need to win 17 to get promoted.
Jeremy says 17. Tux, would you go along with 12 there with what Richard said?
Yeah, but the thing is, I said earlier, like where are we pulling that from? Like it's like we just pull out form out of our arse or something. It's just not coming out of anywhere, is it? Like, you know, totally. We've been saying this for all of the season, where we keep saying, "Oh yeah, we'll put a run of games together. Only got to win 5, and we're back in it." But we're not doing that. You know, we're winning 3 on the bounce, but you know what's after that? We can't manage to do that, and not a lot of other teams in this league can do that. That's why we're in this league, because we're so inconsistent. And it's completely what Crunch is saying. Consistency is key in this league, and we do not have that at this time.
You say that, but we did a couple of weeks ago on a show, the points return, where we looked at the games coming up and how many points you think would come back. And actually, we're not a million miles from where you thought we'd be. You thought we'd draw at Bolton, we lost. But other than that, we're spot on where currently you thought we'd be. So you say about pulling form out your arse, you should be riding pretty at the moment, surely.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I just feel like I know this club, and I feel like, okay, it's a new team, but I feel like this is what we're all about a little bit. It's just that we just, for whatever reason, can't go on some sort of a run. I don't know whether it's like mentality or what. I don't know, but it's just it's so hard to watch that we turn up and we pay money to watch these games home and away, and we go to Gillingham the other week and we win 4-0, and it's like, I've not seen that in a while, and I thought that we turned a corner, and then we go and put a performance in like we play against Sheffield Wednesday, and you think
they were pony though. Oxford went there and scored 7.
They were, but it's the ability of that, like we go and play someone like Wickham or someone like that, and we turn them over. But then we go and play a Sheffield Wednesday, and we just look shell shocked. And it's not the only game that we played and we've looked like that. It's just. It's our early season form that's fucked us in the arse, and that is what it's been about the whole of this season.
Yeah. 449 from Matt Stannard. Thank you very much. Bailey Clements appreciation donation. Thing is though, Tuck, seeing that points return I just put on the screen there, I'll put it up again. It's actually made me feel a little bit better tonight. And Tom, I'll bring you in at this point because you did the same thing. I think it was me. It was us three again. You had very similar. So I'm actually going to go to bed quite positive after that because. Where we thought where you both had us to be at this point, and you both had us on a points return that saw us inside the playoffs historically. Are you still as confident as you were here, Tom, with wins at Gillingham, Doncaster, and MK Dons and a draw at Burton, or do you think you'd look at that and revise it now if you were giving it again?
I think my one I would have said Dons might have been a loss, but yeah, I think it's what Rich said. We need about 12 wins to get to be about 77 points at the minute. So that would probably get us in. But yeah, it comes down to consistency. We've not seen anything to say that we can do it. Doesn't mean we can't. We've got the players that can do it, but I want to have seen something that can kind of replicate again, if that makes sense. I've not seen something that can make us go on this run that we need to do, but
okay,
we've got time.
We haven't. Talking of time, we will end the show there. Last question to Cruncher and Alex. You've got about 58 minutes of the window left. Would you like to see me again in the next 58 minutes, or would you not like to see me again in the next 58 minutes?
I'm going to bed.
You're going to bed. Alex, because if I return, it's because we've signed somebody. Would you like to see my face again in the next 58 minutes, or are you happy with the business we have done?
I wouldn't want to panic buy. So, and I think if we got someone in now when there's been no indication that anyone coming in, it would be a panic buy. So, as much as I love you as a mate, if I don't see you for the next hour, then I'm good with that.
Okay, all right. I won't take it personally. Crunch, go to bed. You need the beauty sleep tomorrow.
Snow forecast.
Oh, is it? Well, you better go to bed then. Mr. Plough. That's the name. That name again is Mr. Plough. Great. Alex, we love you. Look after yourself. Appreciate you coming on. Leaves me with the two that started. We are once again the only two left standing. Don't worry. I won't put a call into you both if we do sign somebody. Your shift of the Night's Watch has ended. Final words. Transfer window, grade A to F. Include the summer. What do you think it's been, Tom?
I'll include the summer. Well, this window's been about a C, but
okay. Yeah,
overall probably C minus.
Okay, all right. Tux.
I think for overall, I would go a C. I think a lot of people were, sitting there saying that, were they the right signings? Have we done enough in this window and stuff like that? But ultimately, yes, they needed to be changed in the summer. Yes, we need to, tighten up a few, areas of the team in January. So ultimately, we've done that. I would have liked to see another player come in the central midfield area, if I'm honest. But, ultimately, I think it's a C. We've kind of tied up the players that we needed to tie up, such as Walton, Barn, etc., etc. So I think we've done that. I think we've got rid of some players that needed to go. Fraser will always be a question mark because he was that fourth choice number 10, but ultimately there were 3 ahead of him, and those 3 I think are the right ones to keep. So I would give it like maybe a B or a C.
Okay, agreed on that one. Lots of C's coming in, so everyone's at home is agreeing with you. Kelly says C is average. You're telling me the players we brought in been average or worse. Well, the league table doesn't lie. I suggest I would say I would come back with that point, and mid-table is where we are at. Lots of good shows. So thank you for your time. Thank you, the viewer, for watching us. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the support you've shown the platform, myself, these guys, and the shows. As always, hopefully, I hope to see you again in the next 45 minutes because that means we signed somebody. And I've not heard that Jay Matete has gone to Sunderland as a defo, so I'm still holding out that hope. But until then, he is Voom, Tom James. He is the Peaky one, Mark Tuxford. If not tonight, back on Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your weeks with love, with care. Come on, you boys.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better without what's been holding us.